Hey everybody, I'm Topher and I welcome you to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I started this channel because despite being on a limited budget, I have an appreciation for the finer things. And one of the things that I wanted to demystify and remove some of the elitism from was craft beer. So on this channel, I try to keep my beers usually around the $2 price range. And today's selection I paid $3.67 for because it is a pint can rather than a 12-ounce beer. It is the Hop Anatomy American Pale Ale from Revision Brewing Company. Revision is out of Sparks, Nevada, so they're in the greater Reno area. They're local-ish. They're Nevada brewers. Sometimes it's funny because I've noticed that Reno brewers and Sparks brewers, they seem to get lumped in with Vegas brewers too, and it's all part of the whole drink local scene, which is fine because let's face it, if you've ever driven through Nevada, there's this town, Las Vegas, there's Reno, and there ain't much else. So that kind of stands to reason. If you're talking about urban Nevada, there's a sense of locality to that. But getting back to this beer, the Hop Anatomy has a 5.5 ABV. Typically, American Pale Ales come in between 4.5 and 6.2, so it's actually about mid-range. It has 44 IBUs. Typically, American Pale Ales come in between 30 and 50 IBUs. So as you can see, it's a little bit on the higher range for that. Now, the American Pale Ale is one of those varieties that actually started out as a British variety, and the American counterpart was to add more hops to it. The Pale Ale actually kind of sprang out of the whole amber ale um, distinction, and pale ales used to be more closely associated with amber ales. However, over the past 6 or 7 years, the pale ale has gone very, very hoppy, and it's oftentimes just shy of being an IPA. In fact, I'm going to read the brewer's description of this. What's in a hop? Sure, lupulin glands, bracteoles, strigs, alpha and beta acid, polyphenols, but what does it all mean? Aroma, flavor, awesomeness, just this side of an IPA and teetering on the edge of pale ale. Hop Anatomy combines Citra and other hops with a nice dose of specialty malt for a complete and well-rounded flavor profile. And as you can see right there, we've got the independent, oh, there we go, the independent craft label. So when you see that, you can rest assured that you're drinking an actual craft brewery's beer and not some corporate entity that has bought the craft brewery and taken it over. Now, this beer has, so far, zero of my friends on Untappd have reviewed this. It only has 2,591 reviews on Untappd cumulatively, giving it a cumulative score of 3.92. Beer Advocate had 21 rankings. The average score there was a 4.0. The overall score is an 87, which is very good. So as you can see, it's getting some fairly good marks amongst the reviewing community. This beer is 2.5 months old at the time of this review, so it's well within it's within the what I would call the IPA purist range because that's usually 90 days. You ultra purists believe it should only be within the first 30 days. But there you have it. Actually, that's in regards to an IPA. This is an American Pale Ale, a super hoppy American Pale Ale. So there is a distinction, as I just got through saying, and I should listen to myself probably, huh? Going to be using my British pint glass. So let's pour a nice. Okay, that is what you're seeing on the camera is about the color of the beer, and I'm very happy for that. I'm going to describe that as medium high carbonation. There's some serious carbonation, but it's not crazy carbonation. That head is I'm going to describe as actually kind of flimsy. I mean, I see big bubbles popping, boom, boom, boom. Um, but it's a nice, bright golden color. And what, like I said, what you're seeing on the camera is pretty close to the color itself. I'm really glad when that happens. Let me give this a quick beard wipe, see what I encounter. Hops. Hops is what I actually encountered. Let me stick my schnoz in and see what else I can find. Sure find a lot of hops, definitely Citra hops. I mean, it says that they use Citra and other hops, and you can tell that Citra is the predominant hop in this composition for sure. Getting a little bit of the, actually getting a little bit of the yeast rather than the malt, but I am getting just a tiny bit of malt. And there goes one of my beer cans. So, um, all right, so I'm not able to isolate much more other than the hops. Like I said, there's a little bit of a malt, and I can even get more of a yeast uh, bouquet. So or a yeast aroma in the bouquet. So I'm going to go ahead, quit yapping my flap, and start drinking some beer. Cheers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now I'm not overly familiar with Revision Brewing Company. I've only had 5 of their beers so far, gave with an average score of 3.4. So you can see that it's actually I noticed when I was looking at the scores amongst their beers that I had on Untapped. I find it's pretty much hit or miss. I mean, I either love their beers or I'm not crazy about them at all. This one, this one, first impressions. Okay, I'm gonna describe it as a medium-high mouthfeel. There's some spikiness to it. No alcohol burn. 5.5 ABV. That's not altogether surprising. I was frankly expecting this to be a little more hop forward. There's no distinguishing flavor really to this beer. If it's called Hop Anatomy, then I'm expecting some super hoppiness to it. Mostly what I taste is, well, I mean, I taste hops, but it's very, very tempered with the malt, and I get that that's the distinction between an IPA and a pale ale. Is how tempered are the hops with the malt? I mean, how did somebody temper the hops with malt is what you would find in an American pale ale. So I'm not expecting this to be an IPA, but I'm expecting a beer that is called Hop Anatomy to I don't know, just to be hoppier. This is okay. It's not great. Uh, I think the beer deserves a 3.5, and so because it came in a can, it's going to get that extra 0.25. Total score for this beer on Untapped for me will be 3.75. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great, but I've got to say, if this beer is less than 3 months old and already and I'm not tasting much in the way of hops, then I don't think this was particularly hoppy to begin with. It's a certain sweetness in the flavor, and then like a kind of dryness in the aftertaste, but I'm just not getting a hell of a lot of hop to it. So I don't know. I'm not impressed with this beer at all. Um, I'm not going to recommend it. In fact, there's plenty of other beers from there's plenty of other hoppy American pale ales out there that are better than this one, and mm, I just I wish it was better. I really do. But anyway, you can't win them all. So in the end, it's not a bad beer. It's just nothing to write home about. Well, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.